Hey, it's Mike Linkenoker, and welcome to the Coach and Mike Friends podcast. The podcast is a place full of real conversations with real people and real experiences. As I sit down with others, there's going to be no script, no filter. Whether we're talking about life, sports, win, losses, or lessons learned, there won't be perfect answers, just honest conversations and a few laughs along the way. So sit back, get ready to hear a story or two, settle in, and let's get into it. This is this week's episode of the Coach Mike and Friends podcast.
Because of a drought that almost lasted a half century, those teams are revered. They are held on to forever. And what happened today doesn't take away from the greatness of those teams or the meaning that those teams have in U.S. hockey. But what you saw today was the build of a generation, inspired perhaps by that team that lost in 2010 in Vancouver to the Sidney Crosby golden goal in overtime. Or the team where TJ Oshie had all those shootout goals in 2014. That's when these guys were doing what you're doing, watching on TV. And they were young, and they were living the dream. So for all the young people out there, not just the hockey, but all the Olympics you've watched, those dreams are formed now. Go chase them and go get them. Because our country loves sports, and it brings us together unlike anything else. And if you didn't know that, and if you haven't been watching the last 2 weeks, you saw it in Team USA Hockey, winning the gold over their arch rival Canada here in Milan to wrap up these 25th Olympic Winter Games.
One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together
Right now, hold me. What up? If I can get that music turned off. So, hey, I think you just saw that segment I posted before this video of, the Mike Trico thing and about how, sports and everything right there, we all come together. We try to come together as one, and how we as people, use sports, and it's just, you could be black, you could be white, you could be green, you could be purple, you could be, gay, you could be, you might like people that wear two left shoes, anything like that. You could be together as one at a sporting event and not have any care in the world who you are and what you are. I think somewhat the power of sports. Kind of like Trico put, we got a lot going on in our country, and the Olympics kind of always brings us together as one. So I shared on Facebook on the Bruin Thoughts, what is a sports moment or a non-sports moment in time where you thought everybody kind of came together? And I had my thoughts. I was hoping for some other people to have their thoughts, and shout out, nothing happened. But it's okay. Maybe by tomorrow there might be more. But I think sports are a powerful thing. And you will see after this, this week's guest, of course, is my sibling, one of my best friends, KG. And we had a talk about this, about, the favorite sports team that them cheers for is the Detroit Lions. And I kind of took that and we ran with it about how every Sunday, let's just say they were sitting down by somebody, and then that person beside them, had no idea who or what they are, and they have a goal that they are coming together to root on the Detroit Lions. And then I explained how, I'm at Mountaineer Field or the Coliseum or Magnolia County Park ballpark, rooting on the Mountaineers in some way, shape, and form. And the person beside me is there for the same benefit, is to root on the team that we love and that we appreciate. And we come together as one, no matter who we are and what we are. So I think that's just kind of the cool aspect of with that video and what it kind of meant, and what, truly we get out of sports with that. We come together as one with sports. As much as sometimes people don't like talking about sports or really making sports a big thing. I was talking to somebody today, and I brought that up to him, and music does the same thing. Um, books do the same thing. Other things in those aspects do the same exact stuff. Music does put a lot together. Everybody can be at a concert loving one person, and they all have a love and a passion for listening to so and so's music. So it was pretty cool to kind of get that highlighted in that with KG. But I was hoping other people would share what they had to say, and I can kind of flow off that. That's like probably one of my cool I remember getting like cold chills as a kid, and I never knew that feeling. Is when after like 9/11 happened, and George Bush sprinted out on the field and threw the first pitch. And if you go back and you've seen like some ESPN 30 for 30s and stuff on it, they told him that was the worst idea that he probably could do. But the one thing about Mr. Bush, he kind of didn't care what they had to say to him. And he went out there and delivered a beautiful strike right down the middle. He threw some heat on that bad boy. That really brought a lot of people together. I mean, it's as simple as that. Sports did that. You know, go and again, I'm not trying to affiliate with anything political here, guys. I'm not. Never will. This podcast will never get like that. If I bring somebody political on, it'll just be more of what assets can you do to help us? Not in a political way, but just if ever need. That's another day, another time, another follow to get down that road. So I'm really appreciative of that, of this, that it is cool to come together as one in the sports world. So I think that we should treat that more and have an understanding more um, of that we all can come together as one at any type of sporting event, at any musical event, at anything in general. And it doesn't matter who we are, what we are, and we're just having fun. So that's my talk for this week of the Bruin thought of that. Again, get ready to listen. I got emotional recording last night. It lasted a little bit longer. That's why this Bruin thoughts is a little bit not as much as normal. But I got emotional a little bit last night talking to my sister. That I'm not kidding. From day one, it was like I've known this person for all my life, and it was just cool that we have that relationship. I highly respect and love the relationship I have with KG, and um, and it's just an awesome time, to have that family that I have like that. Uh, so, but you'll get to hear more about that. Um, Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your Friday if you're watching on Friday or whenever you're watching this. And of course, my work email goes off. So who knows what that is. So Mike is out. Mike loves you. Have a good Friday. Have a good rest of your week. Coach Mike out. Peace. And welcome to the Coach Mike and Friends podcast. I have on the guest today. Somebody became, probably for a long time, was my best friend in the world of the universe. And then I ended up finding my sibling through 23andMe. I spit in a little like that, and boom, it led me right to my sibling, my one of my bestest of friends, KG. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here. Wild that spit could bring us together, but thankful it did finally.
Yeah, somehow our the spit and then our genetics and then our had the same type of somewhat of blood had put us together on that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know if
I
it's me. Are you cutting out? Am I
It
cutting
could
out for
be.
you?
No, it'll be like that. I promise.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
sound like that. Trust me, I had the fear of it before. It'll sound like that, but it. I promise.
Because you're cutting
It's
out for me.
yeah. It'll slightly lag
Okay. 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 I
while we're
just wanted to make
recording.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, just slightly it will, but because that's how the other ones are. So again,
Gotcha.
folks, this is unedited, unscripted Coach Mike and Friends podcast because I do not like to personally edit out stuff very much right now. Until I buy enough tools to do it. So if some folks don't know, this is my Irish twin. Um, let's see, September
10 months?
16th.
10 and a half?
Yeah, but 16th.
No.
I'm bad with birthday dates.
Yours is
September.
November 3rd.
Well, that's very easy. Um, am I higher or lower?
It's in September, I'll give you that much.
Well, I know that, but am I higher than 16 or lower?
What do you think?
I'm thinking lower, and I'm thinking like the
Nope.
ninth.
No.
Uh, Mercy.
Nope. Higher.
23rd.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't know who I might know that has that 16th birthday. Um,
I don't know anyone with a 16th birthday.
I have a few people that I know that have September birthdays, so that might be why.
That's
So,
fair. I give you a pass. It's only been a few
thank you.
years. You get a pass.
I know. Well, normally I provide I have their birthdays in the contacts. That helps out too. Um,
There you go.
so brought you on. There will be a video that the start off. I want to just kind of get the Bruin thoughts, out there, and you've been thinking about it, and I kind of want to get out there, like pretty much what Mike Tirico is saying is that sports. The favorite thing about he loves about sports and like how America loves sports themselves is that it brings us together. As much as crap as we got
Hmm.
going on in the world of our America, and again, folks, this isn't political. It's just reality what we have going on in America. Sports somehow put us together,
Hmm.
and it was pretty cool to see that and how he highlighted that, and he took his moment of fame. It could have been all about whatever, but he took it to make
Yeah.
it more of a come together thing. So, what when do you feel when? What type of sports moment do you feel whenever you're coming together? Like when
Hmm.
everybody's together. Like what
Yeah.
type of have you had a sports moment before where you felt that way, or maybe all the time? I'm gonna say this
Hmm.
for you. You
Okay.
feel that way whenever every Sunday the Lions play. That's when
Absolutely.
that's when you feel like everybody's coming together. Just like what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
wearing, the beautiful hoodie our
Hmm.
Uncle Bobby gave us.
Hmm.
Um,
The best.
go Lions! I will always rep
We should do
them
a joint podcast
as long as
too.
as long as the Steelers are not playing. Uh, but but I feel like that's your come together moment where
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
there's no black, there's no white, there's no this, there's no that. Everybody
Yep.
that's a Lions fan is a Lions fan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I will even say, like, for me, so my fiance's name is Lisette, and with her, she never watched football, couldn't tell you a thing about football, couldn't tell you who was the Chicago team, even though she's from Chicago her whole life. But
Yeah,
when we moved in together, Sundays were important to me when the Lions were playing. So, like you said, and so she would kind of start to watch them with me. And then, surely enough, every Sunday she was watching. And then she started wearing Lions gear on Sunday. And then she had, her family invested we have one sister who's very superstitious, and she watched once and they did very poorly, and so it just was like the unspoken rule that she couldn't watch, but she would always ask every Sunday, who do we play? And it wasn't like, oh, who do the Lions play? It's who do we play, how did we do, like, what's
yeah,
going on? And even it's gotten to the point the last been 3 years now where Lisa could tell you, like, oh, why didn't they call flag on that pass interference? And I'm like, who the who the hell? Like, you couldn't even tell
yeah,
me what you did with a football, but it's become such a core part of our relationship, and just what we look forward to on Sundays is, bonding time. And
yeah.
we part of my proposal was we went to the Thanksgiving Lions game in
Mm-hmm.
2024.
Yep.
So it's just cool, like you said, how it can, bring us together, even if you have no ties to it initially. It's about community and
Yeah.
Community is one of the biggest things that we can rely on when, like you said, we're, living through the times that we are.
Yeah. I bring the aspect of, I've told you I want to take you there one day to the football game for WVU. It's just, I
Mhm.
think it's more of another C word is commodity. And,
For sure. Yeah.
and then you said community. And it all gives just a different aspect of we're going to be cool and safe and enjoy ourselves for 60
Yep.
minutes or, or,
Yep.
or longer for the day. It could be another 3 or 4 hours of tailgating. And then another 2 hours,
Yep.
you go and hang out with those same people that you've done everything with for the day.
Yep.
Um, and then, you could go back for myself, like with, watching, just being a piece of calm at home, watching Red Sox games or
Oh yeah.
going back and sitting back and watching. Right now, earlier, I was finishing out at work before we had a meeting when I came back. And I was catching the last probably a couple innings of WU play their baseball game today.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think
I think too I was gonna say even the traditions tied to it, and the note of like baseball, like I watched it a lot with Uncle Bobby growing up, or like if I
mhm,
was with him and they were playing, it was on the radio. So then when I got older and got a car, I listened to it on the radio and was like, who
yeah,
like this, you get so many of those traits passed down to you, like, you being a Steelers fan, a Red Sox fan, those were you inherited those,
the Red
from your
Sox.
family.
So I'll say this: the Steelers thing was more of local area. Like my dad liked the
Yeah,
Cowboys, but dad's a sports fan, but not like the biggest sports fan.
right.
And the reason my dad liked the Cowboys because of Roger Staubach. That's what he always heard back in the day, like on the radio and
Yeah.
everything. Was that he was like the man. And so, but with me, I was more of like I became early young. I did become a Steelers fan. I love Big Ben and everything, but kind of like in my 10 to 13, 14, I was just a huge fan of football. But I loved
Mhm.
different players. Like I loved Peyton Manning. I loved Don McNabb.
Oh, yeah.
I had their jerseys. I had as much as he was a rival. I loved Ray Lewis and
Yeah.
just the tenacity that he played.
Yep.
But to the Red Sox thing, that did come from family. My family up
Yep.
north was huge Red Sox fans. My cousin that
Yep.
I look up to, big Red Sox fan. Like it would always talk about
Yep.
it, do it, and share about it. So that I
Mhm.
did get from that part of of it came down from family and everything. And then if I had to pick a second team, it would be the Reds because that's what my dad loved. He loved the big red
Mm.
machine. So,
Yep.
but yeah, I just kind of I really just wanted to share that out today because in the video will either be posted before this or after, but I just really want to get people to understand that sports does do a lot for people in this aspect,
Oh, yeah.
and again, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, and everything else. Um, it kind of pauses our thoughts on that, and it brings us
Yeah.
together in a cool way, and
Yeah.
it's really nice to have that, and
Yeah. It's
um,
an outlet for sure.
yeah, yeah, and just like with Lizette, she had no idea anything
No,
about it, and
I'll have to see in my
and
drafts if I can send you of like the filters of like what team is this? It was atrocious. Not, I don't
yeah,
think she
like
got any of
like
them
those funny
right.
videos where like the dad's like
Yeah.
it's like
Mhm.
the Dolphins and he goes the Miami Fishes.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll have to see
yeah,
if I can find that for
yeah.
you.
Yeah, they I just think it's so like for instance, even with that, you know, I like going back to all my conversations of all these. She did something right there that was a small thing for you.
Mhm. Oh,
Like
yeah.
she knew how much that meant to you. And that was
Yep.
a small thing that she started learning,
Yep.
understanding, and every year has grown to become
Oh.
a
Oh,
great
yeah.
a great knowledge of it. And
Absolutely. Yeah, because she could
and
have, just went and did her own thing on Sundays and I did my
yeah,
own thing, but,
yeah,
she took it as an opportunity to spend time together and lucky that,
yes,
she wants to do that too, So it's
yep,
cool. I enjoyed
yep,
a lot.
yeah. So we'll break from that, and I kind of want to get people to understand. Again, folks, if you haven't known my story or anything, I am adopted. My biological mother had to give me up. And before we get anything onto that, everything since I've kind of had this process of learning who my family is and such biologically, and maybe even more, even with my adopted mother where she passed away, it grew from that thought to this thought, even grew even more that things happen for a reason. There is
Yeah.
reasons why this happened. And were the reasons great at the time? No, not really. But at the same time, um, it happened. And
Yep.
technically, I was supposed to go to a different family.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow the universe and the good Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yep.
And voila, I ended up with the dad and the mom that I have.
And then up to
And
Lincoln Hope.
yeah, buddy. So it so so it's a blessing in disguise. And again, folks, it's a true statement that things do happen for a reason. Um,
Everything.
and who, and it might have been a reason why it took so long for us to find each
Yep.
other. We'll never maybe
Yeah.
understand that reason.
No.
And
But we might not be
but
meant to.
yeah, correct. And it might have been where like we both, I think really we met each other at a time where we both we were, I was growing a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
but you were still growing a lot harder
Yeah.
and trying to really
Yeah.
figure out, not the right life path. That's not probably not the right word,
No, no, no.
but
Just figure out who I was.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You were on a path, but it's not like you had two different directions. It was more of,
Mhm.
you're here,
Pothole
here.
filled
Yeah,
road.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's not that you had to go this way like this. It was just
Right.
more of it like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Little rumble strips.
but yeah, and you just caught it at a good. I mean, we just both caught each other at that good of a good time frame like that.
Yeah.
Where again, I will always say we needed each other in those time frames.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
and it came to fold that way. Um,
Yep.
so before we got on, we talked about. You said you were about. I'll say I call her mom, folks, and it's fine. I do that. But her name is Michelle. If you
Hmm.
all about 4 or 5 years ago, seen the video where I put out about her and KG and my other sisters and such and everything, um, that I shared that her name's Michelle, but I do call her mom. Um, but besides that, so she told you when you said you were like 15, 16 years old or whatever, ninth, 10th grade.
Yeah, probably somewhere between the years of like ninth and 10th grade. Um, probably around 10th. So yeah, like 15 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, your first, probably in the first, let's say like that first year of like trying to figure out, oh, where's he at? What's he doing? Like, do you remember any of those? I mean, I know it's about 14, 15 years ago, but
Yeah. No,
um,
15.
yeah. So
I'm
so
younger than
what?
you.
I know I had to remember that you're a year, um, because I almost did 2 years. Uh,
Yeah.
so but what is the true thought that you had like in that first year? Like, did you just? I know you're selling to just move on from it or anything, but you
No.
had your thoughts about
Mhm.
it. Yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think definitely a few things, obviously came to mind. I'm sure the biggest one you can relate to is why. And again, like you said, we'll probably never, I mean, you and I know the surface level reason of why.
of
Um,
course.
you know what I mean? So like I
And
get
that does
that, but
not
like
need to be
why
discussed.
did that have to no, no. But like why did that have to you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, of
I get the
course.
why, but like why did that have to happen or like why, just the why behind it. Um I think one thing, and I don't know if you and I have ever talked about this, so here goes the unfiltered, unedited.
Woo!
Um, I think for me, like you said in the beginning, we're Irish twins. You're November 3rd, 1994. I'm September 23rd, 1995. So it's at 10 and a half months.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do the math, I came very soon after. So I think for me too, at a lot of the younger points had questioned again on the thought of why, like, why you but not me?
Yeah.
Like what
Yeah.
changed in the, you know what I mean? So I think just a
Yep.
lot of questions, confusion, curiosity, obviously wondering who you are, what do you look like? Do we look alike? What would it have been like growing up with, a brother so close in age? Um, a lot of what I feel like are like
I
the
don't think
normal
the world
things
would
in
have
the
been able to handle
situation.
us.
No, I don't think
I
mom
really
would have been
don't.
able to handle us.
No.
I don't think she would
I,
have.
I,
No.
I think that would have been a whole wind of everything.
Yeah, yeah. So, and obviously too, again, I feel like these are things that people probably would be like, well, yeah, of course, like you felt that, the what ifs, or, you talked about it in
Oh,
your video too, of like what
yeah.
could have been, or, in some ways maybe should have been, but like you said, everything happens for a reason. And, you were meant to have the parents that you did, and your mom and your dad. Grateful that they, stepped in and raised you to who you are, and instilled such good values in you, which is it's weird because we've talked a lot about it, but even though we didn't grow up together, we didn't even connect until what, 2022, which
Yeah.
was
I want folks to
4 years
realize
ago.
when we first met, it was legit like I just talking to somebody I knew my whole entire life. It was
Yeah,
insane.
wild.
I mean,
Yeah, and
I'm
if you
looking
know
over right
me,
now. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, if you know me, unless I know you, I don't really like to,
Yeah,
I'm
it was
not.
yeah, it was just
Yeah,
crazy. Like, and I'm picturing
yeah,
right now, like the TV and stuff's over here, but remember the TV? It used to have like a big opening area, and we had like a little counter, and
yeah,
I was talking to you on the counter, and it's we were finishing each other's sentences and stuff, like talking
yeah.
about this and that and everything else.
Creepy.
It was crazy. Like, and
Yeah,
after we got done talking, like I'm shaking of just unbelievable, like
yeah.
what's
And it was
going on. Why?
hours. Like, I
Yeah,
think
oh
we
yeah,
talked till like 2, 3 in the morning. And
2,
I
3 in the
remember,
morning.
so it's funny, the story of how I found out about you, and then also of how we found out you found us, like I think it was your cousin on your bio dad
Yeah.
side, right? Yeah.
Yep. Lives
So
in
when I
and that
found
she lives in Virginia, like right close to me.
it's wild, wild, wild.
Yeah.
So when I found out, we were heading back from probably Uncle Bobby's, and mom had said, I have something to tell you, and if you know my mom, and if, she was like, it's really important, which it could have been like, I need you to go
Yeah.
to the grocery store with me tomorrow, or,
Yeah.
Grandma Kathy is in the hospital. Like, there's no in between with this woman. God bless
No.
her, but she's she's high or she's low. Like, there's just no.
Yeah. By the
So I'm
way,
like,
I told her earlier
yeah.
what we're doing.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, can you just tell? Because it's like, an hour car ride. I'm like, I don't want to just sit here wondering, because she's like, not freaking out, but like, you can tell it's something important. So I'm like, great. What, like, who died? What is it? Like,
Hmm.
what's going on? So we get home, and she sits me down, and she, tells me I had a baby in between you and your sister. This is what happened. Like you said, we thought you went to a different family. What she thought was supposed to be like a semi-open or open adoption, where you had went
Yeah.
to, I want to say it was a family in Huntington, a lawyer,
It
and the
was
mom was
it
a
was a lawyer and a
stay-at-home
mom.
mom, and they had a daughter. So she was like, that's who she thought she picked, but
Yeah.
as you
And
know.
and to pause you there, she she was all about like she kind of got mad, and
Hmm.
she kind of got frustrated that that happened. And
Yeah.
because I kind of made a joke. I was like, well, yeah, I lived with a lawyer, and my dad laid down the law like no other. And she kind of didn't laugh after I did that, and
Yeah.
she got mad. I told her, I was like, and that's again another process of that where I said, listen, there's a reason why they did not take me. There's
Yeah.
a perfectly good reason why.
Yep.
And
Again, will we know? Probably
no,
never.
no, we'll
But
never know that. And I don't think we will. And I think I've
no.
told you this before too. Um, you know, my mom had worked up, and this could be all he say, he or she, whatever. But my
Yeah.
mom worked in the DHHR, and I think she had found out about the situation, and
Mm.
then boom, grabbed me in. I could
Yeah.
be very wrong. I'm never going to talk about. I mean, I've talked to Dad about it a little bit. I've talked to other family. Another family probably going to hear this, and they might say something, might not. And you can
Right.
talk to me after this, whatever. But I think that's what happened, and I'm getting perfectly fine with that because when I went to
Yeah.
go get some
Again, you
paperwork,
ended up where you were supposed to.
correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct, and I have no hard feelings about that. And
Yeah.
but when I went to get my paperwork from these people, I'll have to when you come back in, I'll have to show you where I was at for three
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
Um, and but stop there, and the lady had retired that ran the place,
Mm.
but she was in there volunteering. She grabbed the folder. She's like, "This is one of the smallest folders I've ever seen." There's only about three or four different pages of stuff, and I think
Mm-hmm.
once I was there a little bit longer, everything started clicking in her brain,
Mm.
and there was more to the story that I don't think she wanted to tell, which I
Right.
didn't want to know. I never want to know, and do not tell me.
Yeah.
And so, but to that point, um, I wanted to get, and then I'll let you go back and finish what you're saying. I want to get this while I got my
Mm-hmm.
brain. When I was a younger kid, I had a street light right by my window, and I treated that sometimes as a good old friend. Um, it was always on, never said anything back, just was always there for a listen.
Yeah.
And it was only me and my dad. Never really had a lot of people to talk to at a younger age. Never had, if I was feeling sad or bad. That light was always my best buddy. To,
It
let
allowed you
out,
to grieve.
yeah, it did, yes.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I would ask that light, hey, I wonder what my real mom's doing. Or hey, I wonder
Mm.
if I have that brother or sister.
Yeah.
Or hey, I wonder what they're doing today. It was kind of like looking at the stars, but I was looking at that light.
Yeah.
And so, but I know I never told you that one.
No.
Where I had to look
Mm-mm.
at that light as a younger kid. But
No.
but I did think about it a lot. Um and and I had this thought earlier, and I'm getting kind of emotional about it because I thought I'm not going to get emotional on this. What if I did have a crappy life? And
Yeah.
again, these are all what ifs. And
Of
a lot of
course.
people know that I play this game, and it's not a very fun game that I play with myself. Um, but but what if I did have a crappy life and they knew about it or whatever, or it was just a different
Right.
story than what it is? And it just drives me crazy that like that could have happened. And um and I don't know. It just I'm blessed beyond measure what happened. And I'm blessed
Absolutely.
for and I'm blessed for how life is now with you all in my life.
Right.
I just but it does make you wonder just a little like, man,
A hundred
what if
percent.
and it always and again, just like we were talking about just a minute ago, what it would feel like if we did grow up together. I mean,
Right.
we'd be the tandem like no other.
Oh
And
yeah.
but to besides that, continue on to what you were saying. So you got and I'll kind of take you there, and I'm gonna take people a little bit further up. So
Yep.
when I first met KG, either that day or the next day, you sent me the TikTok or the Twitter thing,
Oh, Twitter.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and it had
Yeah.
this big. this lawyer, blah blah blah
He's
blah
one of
blah.
those little, help me find my sibling. Like my
Yes,
brother was
If TikTok was a
adopted.
little bit more around, I bet it might have
It
happened.
was Twitter. It
Um,
was Twitter.
yeah, yeah, but I'm saying if
Hmm.
TikTok was a little bit more around, I bet it might have happened
Oh yeah,
faster.
yeah. Well, what was
So
wild was I had a friend in West Virginia. Where was she? Huntington, maybe.
no, Fairmont, Fairmont,
Um,
Fairmont.
yeah, and
I
she
know it
had
was Fairmont.
retweeted it.
Yes, and then two people of mine that I know, my one of my best
Mm-hmm.
friends, his little brother Kyle Bays, liked
Yep.
it.
Yep. Wild, wild. But it was a different story, a different story of, where you went and, the family you went with. The hospital and everything was the same, but,
Yep.
how would you have known if you saw that or if he saw that's what it was? Because, well, a question, which I don't know if I've ever asked you either. When you were growing up, did people know that you were adopted?
Yeah, I think pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
Some people thought me and Dad were legit, but
Yeah.
I think it was a
Yeah.
given factor.
You guys
I
do
think
look
people
alike.
that didn't
Mhm.
grow up around me didn't know. Um,
Right.
like I'd have some friends outside of the town or the area,
Yeah. Yeah.
and eventually would figure it out. But no, but that's the thing too. Nothing against to what you looked like, back back then, but now we look a little bit more alike in our
Oh
facial
yeah.
structure. But back
Mhm.
then, I don't think you could
We have
tell
the
if you
same
and I were.
nose.
Yes, yes, but
Yeah,
like with
which is
that
funny
picture,
because
there
I
ain't
always
no way I.
wondered where my nose came. Oh my gosh, no, I look. So for those who don't know, I at the time of that picture had very long, like down to here
Yeah,
hair. Did
yeah,
not look anything like what I look like now.
no, yeah.
No,
I don't think I've been able to pick up that we were related, and it.
no, no,
No.
no.
And like I told you, and this all got started too, like with that 23andMe, and I found my grandfather. I'm like, my God, that looks like me in 50 years, and
Mhm.
it's creepy as heck, and
Yeah.
and I said, no, that's not good, that's not, and so then,
Yeah.
but then I never could trickle down like where and who, and then I
Yeah.
think I did end up finding mom on the page, but I never put two and two together because I just didn't know at the time either.
You never did it.
What?
23andMe.
Yeah, you still haven't done
No, I did Ancestry and Me
it.
for the hope of finding you.
That's what it
So
was.
I
Yeah,
did
but
that, yeah, maybe 2016, but we picked the wrong
yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah. And I have
Which
to
is
think,
wild
and
to think, because then it's like, what if we did the right one or the same one and then found each other in, 2016, 2017.
yeah,
But like you said, everything happens for a reason and definitely was when it was needed the most, I think.
yeah, for sure. Um, but no. So let's scoot you on to that, and then scoot you on to. So, folks, you lived in the big world of Detroit.
Hmm.
And that was a fun time for you.
Oh
And
yeah. Love living there.
yeah, I miss seeing from the view you had with the window.
Oof,
Um,
yeah, right on the street.
yeah,
Yeah, for
and then,
so I lived, if
and
you're familiar where the draft was in
yeah,
2024, my
but
apartment was
you're right by the
literally
Tiger
right
Stadium, right?
outside of that. Yeah, like 10-minute walk, 10-15 minute
That's
walk.
what I
So
thought.
where the draft was, that was literally, so the draft was here, there was a
Yeah,
building here, and then my building was right here. So
gotcha.
literally outside my
I
front
think
door.
I think I might have sent you a screenshot of it. I think
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I had the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yep.
me and my buddy Zach that went to the game, we're thinking about going up to it for Pittsburgh.
For the draft, yeah,
We
that'll be
are.
cool. I wish I would have went in
I know we
2024, but
should.
no,
I know we should, but
we
it was
should
just
have.
too much
It
going
would have
on.
been so fun. Yeah, it was a lot.
But so it was what I'll never forget going the first time into Detroit, and we're like kind of like in a back road, but not really. And there's these people
In a
on
back
bikes, just
road of Detroit.
Yeah, they're like running back and or riding their bikes back and forth. I'm like, I hope to God this is
Oh yeah,
common culture, and
yeah,
it was. It ended up being it was.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so and again, guys, this is like 11, 12 o'clock at night. Okay, first
Yeah, you
time
got in
ever.
late.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ever in Michigan.
yep,
So wonderful experience. You know, I was just waiting for
yeah.
the play lose yourself as much as I wanted. But so so we get there, and so let's take that moment right then and there. Like, and you know, and I'll say this first, like we didn't have like an emotional like big old hug because we had talked
No,
so much,
yeah.
and
What I was gonna
and
say too, because people would ask, but to me, and I don't know if you felt this way. Well, kind of like you said, it felt like I had known you forever.
yeah,
You know, with
yeah,
how fast we connected, how well and how much we did. That it wasn't some like, big breakdown where,
uh,
I fell to the ground and you picked me up and hugged me. Like, it just felt
yeah,
like I was seeing my brother I hadn't seen in like, 6 months. Like,
yeah.
it felt so natural.
Now, and this is where I'm getting kind of tearful, and I always get
I know where you're
emotional.
going.
Yeah, folks, when we had to leave each other for the first time, it
Yep.
absolutely sucked. It was
Yep.
very heartbreaking. It was very I don't know. I don't even talk about it or think about it. It felt like I don't know, and I've talked about this on the show and stuff and everything, and how I have a trouble of handling emotion and grieving and everything, and I think it just felt like when's the next time this gonna happen?
Right.
When's all this, and when
Or
are we
what if,
gonna?
I blew it and, you don't ever talk to us again? Or what if,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
that
yeah.
definitely didn't happen, but
Well, no,
um,
not now. Now you're
yeah.
stuck, whether whether
Well,
you like
yeah,
it or not.
yeah. I mean that definitely didn't happen. Whenever that happened,
No,
it
no,
was
no,
more.
no. No, it was such an
Yeah,
amazing trip.
yeah. I mean, we just I don't know. It was just the ultimate time that you didn't know that it was time that we didn't know that we should already had that
Yeah.
we. It was
Time
time that
stolen
like
from,
yeah, and
yeah.
it sucked that like there wasn't a sooner opportunity that we got to be together and enjoy each other's time together and really just
Be
again guys like
siblings.
it. Yeah, and like and I just don't think people understand. I don't know too many people that ever been in my shoes in this type of situation. I know my aunt
No.
and stuff has been something very similar to this, and maybe a couple other people that I know has been very similar in this situation. But what I don't think people understand is that um, we bonded like no other in that time frame,
Hmm.
and it was just so it was just so what's the right word here?
Healing?
Yeah, yeah, like it was very
Yeah.
it was supposed to happen. Like this was
Yeah.
like it's
Needed.
yeah, and yeah, that there we go. Like it was just very enjoyable. It was very
Yeah.
like I not that I'm never with myself with Laney or with friends or with family. It was just another type of
Yeah.
situation that I like you I want people to understand we are very similar and very alike in a lot of different things.
Creepy.
And
It's
it's
weird.
very creepy. And it's very
Weird.
creepy. And and we both overthink a lot. We both, stress out almost about the same exact things. Like,
Yep.
my biggest stress is what am I gonna figure out for dinner for next week? And KG
Yep.
is the same thing, same problem.
Yep. I
And
don't
we've
want to
both been
think
like
about it.
that. Yeah, and but the route that reason why, you know, yours is like that is because it's kind of how you grew up a little bit. And that's a whole different
Yeah.
story, a whole another day. Mine is
Yep.
my dad, great cook as he had. We had spaghetti, we had tacos, we had
Mm.
breakfast, we had this and that. I got not tired of eating all that, but I wanted to make something different that I liked. So
Yeah.
that's what made me want to start cooking and wanted to learn and everything.
Yep.
So that's where I gained it of thought of like, well, what's this meal gonna be this week? What's this one? What's that one? Like I don't want to repeat myself, but but every Tuesday we
Nope.
normally do with
Pick one.
tacos. Yeah, exactly. Chicken legs and ribs. We've had that for 3 times this week. Thank you very much. That's how good they were.
They
Besides
look
the Kroger
delicious.
brand, besides the Kroger brand that they had, complete butt. Do not buy that. It will taste like jerky. It was disgusting. Kroger,
Uh,
shame on you. But
Shame
the
on you,
regular,
Kroger.
yeah. So, by the way, they're building one of the biggest Krogers in the country. Well, the biggest on the Eastern Coast in Little South Charleston, West Virginia.
Hmm. I'm gonna
Imagine
bet the
like
one by
three.
where I used to live is bigger. They have clothes, like
Well,
actual,
so
like a
this one
miner.
will too. The one by Laney's cousin does, but this is the East Coast, not Chicago
That's fair.
or
Not the Midwest.
Michigan. Yeah,
Is West Virginia considered the East Coast?
East, but yes,
Is it?
it's not a coast, but it's East. How about the Eastern
The
Seaboard?
Mid East. The Mid East.
No, if anything, we're South.
I would go more south.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because the
I would go
South will
more
rise
south.
again. But no, we won't get to that. No,
Yeah,
that's another fun story I got to tell you. Um,
near
so
toboggan.
yes. Hey, folks, she never heard that word in a day of your
No,
life.
I heard of it, but not as a hat. I know a toboggan as what you like a wooden sled you go sledding in the winter, not a hat. That is not a toboggan. That is the
We
most.
we
I apologize to all West Virginia people when I say this, but that is the most West Virginia thing I've ever. A toboggan on your head. That's crazy.
we conversated that for like over an hour through text, and I was like,
No,
"No,
that's
this is what it's
crazy.
called."
No,
Yeah.
no, no,
Um,
no.
but so that moment's had there. Since then, you've came in 3 times or 2 times.
2 times. Bridge Day and your birthday.
Yeah. Okay. And
Yeah.
then I've been up
Right?
that
Or did I
way.
come three?
I feel like you have. No,
I don't remember. No, I
no.
think just two. Once with Audrey and once with
That's
Lisette.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was birthday
Yeah. Two
last year.
times. Yep.
Yeah. And then I've been
You've
up
been
three.
one. I think maybe more. You went up for when we met. Then you came back for
Birthday.
mom's surprise party, and then Christmas. Yeah. Yeah. Three. Right.
No, I did come up one more time that summer, that other summer, back to back.
Ah,
And then
back
came
to
up for
yes, you did.
Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Four
But I
times.
haven't been back
No,
but
three
I haven't
times.
been back since the other Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been 4 times. I got
Yeah.
some
But
catching
the
up to
goal
do.
it's okay. The goal this time is to come to you this
To
time.
Chicago, the Windy City.
I am trying to take my dad and I to Cincinnati for opening day, like the first day of the game of the year.
Ooh,
They're playing the Red
that would be
Sox.
so fun. What?
Yeah,
Okay, you gotta go if that's both of your guys' teams.
I know. I'm trying very hard to convince them, and I'll have time off where I can take off and not count the PTO.
Oh yeah, it's Good Friday.
Well, that
Nope.
won't. I know what you're talking about, but no, I don't get that off. But I have some flex time that I'm about to be using when that time comes, and I'll
Oh,
have a day
nice.
off, so I don't have to worry
Perfect.
about anything. And
Yeah,
then
that's lovely.
I'm trying to go to Columbus the next day to see Adam Ray.
That is.
I've sent I've sent it to you before. It's the guy that does like Joe Biden, and then
Oh yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
does
I'm
Doctor
terrible with
Phil.
names.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. Nope, nope. I
Hey,
remember that.
hey, we'll be right back. But so um, I'm gonna take off to this and finish up on this last little part that I've had thoughts of.
Yeah.
Um, I mentioned my buddy Slayton, and then I think you try your dandiest of damnest to have a really good work life balance. Um, and
Yeah.
I didn't ask you this earlier, and I think you'll be okay if I bring it up.
Mhm.
But from what I've seen with posts and with conversations with you,
Hmm.
you have really worked on self.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in this past, just from the stuff I've been seeing.
Oh,
Shout
yeah.
out, and I told you the other day that was awesome that you went to that show by yourself. I'm
Yeah.
struggling to try to do something like that myself.
Yeah. Do it.
Um,
Rip the Band-Aid
yeah,
off.
yeah, and and there's a lot of baggage with that bandage with that little statement right there. But that's another day,
Hmm.
another topic, another story. But to go off that, it's number one, proud of you that you're doing that, and
Thank you.
and jealous that you're doing that. Number
Thank you.
two, um, just to go a little off how that process has been. Maybe it might help somebody else out that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
be a little bit stuck in that little rut with that.
Yeah. So when did I do start therapy the first time? I think like 2019, and then COVID happened, and obviously everything
Yeah,
changed. So I stopped going to therapy, and then didn't do it again for a few years at that point. And during those few years of when I didn't do it, like you had kind of mentioned, was a lot of self discovery. So for those that don't know me from Michael's side, and maybe you've kind of heard him say, my sibling, this is KG. So I personally identify as someone who is non binary or like trans non binary, however you want to call it. So I use they them pronouns. And during COVID specifically, that was like a really big awakening period for me. I had been out as queer for three, 4 years with my friends and a couple years with the family. They found out later. And then had realized, growing up, I never really felt like girl, but I didn't really feel like a boy. But, I didn't until, early adulthood know that there was another option out there of,
yeah,
of what you could be. And
yep.
so started kind of figuring that out, but uh, really, I would say too, right at the time we met, was just wrapping up a rough breakup and moving back to Detroit. And, that breakup had kind of ended because that person couldn't accept who I was. And I think that really kick-started, a lot of what you've seen too of, the self-love, the growth.
I want you to know
Um,
her and your and Lisette's relationship starting out back again. How things happen is very movie like, folks. But we won't go
yeah,
into
it
that.
really is. Yeah, it really is. Next episode I'm on.
Yeah,
But yeah, it just, really, kind of similar if you know Michael, you know that he will give, 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 put himself on the back burner, be like, no, I'm okay. I got this. I don't need anything. I don't need anyone. I've got everybody else. And it was the same with me. Again, creepy, similar sibling like things. And, at that time of when I was moving back to Detroit solo again and just was really prioritizing myself. Did that for a year in Detroit and then moved to Chicago with my now fiance. And that was a big move too, because I moved away once very briefly to Alaska for a summer, another episode, and then
I
lived
forgot
in the
about that.
Detroit area. Yeah, and lived in the Detroit area for a while too, before moving to Chicago ultimately. But just really, and I think one thing. So I've been back in therapy consistently now since July of last year. So like what's that, 5, 7 months, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, and one thing that, we've really been working on is healing my inner child, which I think everybody needs to do, but also
Facts.
heal your inner teenager. And
Hmm.
that's one thing Lisa and I have talked a lot about too, because, so much people will talk about, heal your inner child or do this for your inner child, but then, you forget the other part is of growing up and developing is your teenage years, which also, is
Hmm.
so fundamentally important. But anyways, so working on that is reminding myself, like I deserve the love that I give to others because I give a lot. Um, and also, with that and with loving yourself, I think the hardest thing, and this, is been setting boundaries with work to have that work life balance, with friends, with family. A lot of that has come on, the journey of, my identity as far as like my queerness and my gender identity of reminding people of, hey, this is my name. These are my pronouns. Like it's not a conditional thing. Like that's just what it is. Um and also too, one thing to go off of
I
your
don't know.
your comment of the date I took myself on. So that was
Or
therapy homework.
did it did it lag there for you a second there?
No? I mean it's
Okay.
been lagging the whole most of the
Well, it
show.
did
Like
really
the
bad for me
video
right
has.
there. It did it
Ah,
really bad for me right there, but it'll be okay because it
we'll
kind of
see.
gained back everything after that. But yeah, it'll be fine.
Oh, nice. Okay. So yeah, so therapy homework I avoided for a while was taking myself on a solo date. Again, I don't often take time for myself because I'm, well, oh, I could be out working or I could be doing this or doing that or what does this person need or, everything else. And one thing I talked, I think it was this week, yeah, this week in therapy about, um, was trying to be intentional on it. Because when I was
But
out
not
on my solo date, I went to dinner, I went to a comedy show, I got dessert and a little like dirty soda afterwards, and I was trying to be very mindful of not being on my phone or texting Lisette so much or watching TikToks or doing all these things because if I was on a date with her, I wouldn't be doing those things. I would be
yeah,
present with her. I would be, giving her my undivided attention, and was really tough to remind myself like, hey, you deserve that too. So I would say love yourself the way you love others. And I think one thing that's always kind of stuck with me is a quote I heard, I don't even know how long ago, 10 years probably, was the voice you hear the most is your inner voice. And you spend more time with that and more time listening to that than anything else, than your partner, than your coworkers, than music, whatever.
yeah.
So be kind to yourself because you're going to hear it the most. And if you wouldn't let a friend talk to you in that way, then don't talk to yourself that way. Whether
Yeah.
that's beating yourself up or, all of the, of course you did or of course you didn't. Um, but just really being patient and kind with yourself. It's hard.
It is.
It's hard.
And we need to be more kind to ourselves, knowing that it's hard and
Yeah.
that it's a process. It's not something that's going to change overnight. You got to put work
Yeah.
into it. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't want to put
Yeah.
effort in themselves, and
No, it's not
I'm
easy.
trying. I'm trying to do it more day by day, of more of, I guess, at a, I think once I get, I think a lot of things too is I am slowly getting my physical person back. I
Yeah.
think once I
Oh,
get
yeah.
that back,
Oh yeah,
it'll get
that's been
more
something we've
into,
both been doing the last few years, which has been
yeah,
kind of cool to do it together.
yeah. So I'm trying to get that more again back, and this weather has been not been fun for me to go to the gym or whatever or
I don't
anything with
even
all
want to
the
hear you talk about this weather.
whatever. Listen, I thought my whole entire life I would love the snow and love the cold and still be wearing shorts. But my goodness gracious, this past time, like I feel like a brittle little old lady that cannot deal
I
with
feel like
the
mom.
cold anymore. Oh, I hate, like, I mean, I've layered up. I've gone to the point where I will wear freaking leggings with my shorts.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it has gotten bad like that.
yeah.
And I mean, dude, I would wear shorts in 5-degree weather growing
That's
up.
insane.
Yeah,
That's
and I would
nuts.
have the
I
hoodie
mean,
on
I
and that
would
on.
go from like the car to practice or like practice to the
Uh,
car, but I wouldn't
Walmart,
actively wear
boom,
shorts.
right in.
That's crazy. That might be your whitest quality.
And my and my mama, she would throw a fit if I had shorts on for Sunday dinner. Be like, "Why
Yeah.
you got them things on?" So I made sure when I went over there, I changed my shorts into pants.
Yeah.
Before I went
No,
over there,
like
so I
me, I
went
don't
to
wear a
from
coat
home.
so much because I don't like the bulkiness of it in the car. And
Yeah,
so, and also get, I'm going in a warm car, then I'm going in the store, whatever. But with that's mom, every time she's like, "Where's your coat?" I'm like,
yeah,
no,
yeah. I have my hoodie and I'm
no.
fine. I have my hoodie and I have my shorts.
Granted, the weather here much more qualifies for a coat.
Yeah. Well,
It's
you are
cold.
the windy city, so that doesn't help.
We are the Windy City, and it gets freaking cold. Although I will say, having lived in Detroit, downtown near the river, and also living in Chicago, I think Detroit is more cold. I don't
Hmm.
think. I think.
I can
I
believe
think
that
it's
with
windier,
I
and I think
I
it's more
believe that
cold.
more with I believe that with more of the greater like I know that they both have the Great Lakes, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
like you're getting more this way from
Yeah.
Canada and that flow than it is the other way.
Mm-hmm. I will die on that hill that I believe Detroit is windier and more cold than
I will
Chicago.
confirm with that because when I came up for that Christmas,
Oh my
holy
gosh, when
moly!
we got the
I
snowstorm.
my my snot froze when I was filling up gas.
Your nostrils freeze.
Yeah,
They
it was
freeze. It's
insane.
so cold. It's terrible.
And then
Hurts
that's
your
when I found
chest
that
and
beautiful. And that's when I found that beautiful $150 jacket for $6.
oh yeah, Goodwill. Yep.
I
And then you
wore
got
it
your
today.
free casino meals.
Yes, man, we need to
Yeah.
figure out how to do that again. That was an awesome time.
Yeah, that's tell
And
Uncle
get
Bobby
that
when he
and
goes
get
to a
those
game to get
disgusting. Hey, guy, if you're listening to
oh
this, those chicken tenders suck.
suck. They were the worst thing I've ever tasted.
I mean, they
They
were.
were
I mean, they didn't
disgusting.
even.
Inedible.
You would think adding
Mm-mm.
some ranch or adding even the ice cream on top of it to like cool it
Ugh.
down or
I
nothing.
just
No,
got
man.
shivers thinking about it.
Yeah, it was.
Ugh.
Hey, at least it was free and we didn't
It
pay
was
for that.
free. No, but those were
If we
oh
paid
my
for it,
gosh.
I probably would have taken my money back and say this is disgusting.
No, that was the worst thing I've ever had. Don't do it. What was it, guys? Chicken
Yeah, Guy's Chicken. No, literally, I think it's called Guy's Chicken, but it's
Guy's
Guy
chicken?
Fieri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Guy Fieri. I joke that he's my father, but he is. I'll leave you
Do you
with this.
see this?
He is as big of a letdown as my father was with those chicken tenders.
Did you see a Super
Hmm.
Bowl commercial where they
No,
changed his face and everything?
no.
You need to look that up because now that I'm thinking about it, you two do look a lot alike in that in
Oh
the
yeah,
where he
I've joked
when
that
they did.
he's my dad. Yeah,
I swear, look up this. If we get off, look up the Super Bowl commercial. They like redid his hair, cut his face off like with AI and everything, and it's still the same body, but they did all the reshapes and stuff.
yeah. I'll have to
Look
check.
it up.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
always
it was
joke that
hilarious.
he was my dad. We went to when we went to Gatlinburg on the summer of
Yeah,
23. He had just
yeah,
opened his restaurant there. We went there and I of course took pictures and then when you come to Chicago, I'll have to take you. There's one diner by where we used to live. Just kind of like not a hole in the wall diner, but it's like, diner food.
yeah,
But he
yeah.
went there. So they've got his picture up
That's
on the
cool.
wall and we would always sit
I've
by
been
that
to
table and joke
I've
that
been
we
to
were
three
going to visit my
places like
dad.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a place. It's called Hillbilly Hot Dogs. I'll take you there. Their food's in a bus, and he's been there.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to.
Yeah.
When you came to Detroit, did we go to Coney Island? Did we go to get Coney's? I don't think
No,
we
I don't
did.
know why we didn't.
Uh,
No,
okay. Well, when you come next time,
probably because I didn't want to eat all that relish on that freaking hot dog.
you don't put no relish on a Coney.
Well, what I don't know. I know freaking. Well, what's a Chicago dog?
Well, that's not a Coney. That's a
Well,
Chicago
what's a
dog. I
con?
don't like a
Well, what's
Chicago dog. But also, you
what's
put
a,
coleslaw on a hot dog, so I don't think you have any
I
room to
started
talk.
doing that in my adult life, not when I was a younger feller.
Mhm. Weird. No, a coney. I don't even. It's not a chili dog because it's not. It's coney sauce. It's not chili, and then
But
it's
what's
mustard onion.
but what's in the sauce?
I don't know.
Is it
Couldn't tell
bean?
you. It's no. Yeah, it's kind. Well, I think there might be beef in it too. It's like a
No,
chili,
no,
but it's
no,
not so
no. Is
thick.
there beans?
Yeah, I think there's beans in it. Yeah, I think there's beans and beef. So it's like a chili, but it's not like a tomatoey chili.
Gotcha.
Look up Dave Portnoy. You like him. He tried both of them, Lafayette, because there's two popular ones in Detroit.
I like
American
Dave,
Coney
but he's starting to piss me off just a little bit
is
sometimes. But
here, and then Lafayette Coney is here. Lafayette Coney is the number one choice. Do not go to American. American sucks. Lafayette Coney is where it's at.
you heard this. You heard
Outdoors
this,
so much.
folks.
He knew my order. Also, I've not seen him the last few times we've gone. I hope he's okay. Side note on a hot dog too. When we were in Canada for her birthday, we
Oh,
stopped. Being
Canada.
the big Baxby we are, we went to take a picture of the sunset on the lake, river, ocean. I don't know what it was. The something. And there was a hot dog dude, and I was like, should we get a hot dog? Oh my god, the best hot dog I've ever had in my life. It was like so charred, but he like slivered it so everything got nice and crispy. The
I've been.
bun was toasted,
I did that this past summer with
and
my hot dogs.
then he made this like garlic sauce of some sort. It wasn't like regular minced garlic. He called it magic garlic, whatever it was. Oh my gosh, we've been dreaming of them. It was iconic. They call him the dog father.
That's awesome.
The dog
There's a
father.
couple guys I follow on TikTok that does straight up hot dogs all the day, every day. And
I love hot dogs. Love me a glizzy. Only time you'll hear me say that. But I love me a glizzy.
that's horrible. All right, so let's.
Sorry, I don't know if this is PG friendly or not.
Well, I mean, no, that is PG. Now, if it took a little
Yeah,
bit further deep dive, people can
yeah.
imagine that and use your imagination, folks.
Right,
Um,
right.
so,
Kids
uh,
call it a
so
glizzy.
yeah, it's very appropriate.
IKEA has a sign where you can get glizzies. They talk about it. You ever go to
I've
IKEA?
I love Lainey, but ever since I enjoyed IKEA, she don't like me going there anymore because she don't want to walk all the way around. But I could walk in there
You
all
have
day,
to. You have to.
just
That's part of the fun of IKEA.
yeah, like you can just imagine. Oh, if I had all this money, what could I do?
Right. It's always crazy what they can do in those little setups. Like
Yeah,
how functional they can make the space. It's crazy. I could never.
I would like as cool as it is. I would like local like artists or whatever, or even like colleges to start doing stuff like that,
That would be
but
cool. Yeah.
more like in a Habitat Humanity way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. That would be really cool.
people that need a fix up like that. They get it'd be like HGTV like or
Yeah.
home
Yeah.
or
Well, what was that show when we were growing up?
Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Yeah,
Driver,
Ty.
move that
Move
bus.
that
Yeah,
bus. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Eye
Yep.
Pinnakin. Yeah.
Yep. That was a good show.
So
Mom would always cry at that. She'd be like,
I mean, again,
but
what does she
that's
not cry
believable.
on? I mean,
I was gonna
yeah.
say it's believable. So
So when with this, I always like to you've listened. I like to recap. Um, we talked about how we met each other. We talked about how it took us a little spitter and voila, and here we are.
I think we
Um,
might need a part two later on.
yeah, for
Mm,
sure, for sure.
yeah.
And I want people to understand too. Um, it the that part was like that for a long time. Like, and I reached out to an old man, Bob Hubbard. I don't know if he follows or whatever. I keep in contact with him on Facebook, and cool guy, very cool guy. I really appreciate him early on, helping me out with this little situations of stuff like this. But I just had him. He was the closest relative I had for a long time, and then I finally
Mm,
reached. Then that Virginia did it,
yep.
and or no, yeah, Virginia Rose. I'm sorry if she listens to this. I don't know if she does, but sorry about that one. But listened to, and then she reached out, and then that's how Corey ended here. Boom, mom
Yep.
called. We talked. Blah blah blah.
Yep.
So, so that happened, and then, um, we so we recapped all that, and again, I just want people to understand. Um, if you know anybody like in this situation, that 23 me is awesome. I know they took a lot of our
Hmm.
data, and that's okay. It's fine. What data do they
Who
not have right
didn't?
now? Okay.
Literally. Who
Um,
didn't?
but if you want to find somebody like that, I advise using it. It's pretty cool
Yeah.
pre-process. And shout out to my
Really
mother in
cool.
law. Never, she pushed me to do it. So,
Yep.
well, and it was also a Christmas gift, or no, birthday gift. That's what it was. But this happened, guys. This happened like I didn't bring this up earlier. This happened. This happened like a day or two right after Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Um,
like the 28th, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, we were coming back
so,
from Christmas at Uncle Bobby's when, again, she told me, I need to talk to you when we get home. It's important, blah, 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 which I'm like, oh my gosh, lady, like, come on. So we get home and she couldn't find the TV remote. Well, she couldn't start until, as you know, she needs her TV show on, her crime shows, she needs them on. And I'm like,
yeah,
girl, it's like 2 a.m. at this point. I'm like, come on, like, tell me tomorrow. And she's like, no, 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 no. And then boom, dropped it.
yeah, voila,
Crazy.
big time. But
Crazy.
we talked about that. Before that, talking all that, we talked about the little Mike Trico thing. I thought it was just so
Hmm.
awesome how he put that together. And then again, I like to take things from this and how we can impact somebody else's life with it and how it's impacted ours. And
Yeah.
how you and I take sports and it makes our life very uh, complete in a lot of
Yeah.
aspects for us.
Yep.
And that is our time where we appreciate everybody coming together
Oh, yeah.
and
I think
again,
too, it was one of the things that allowed us to bond so quickly too is, I'm a
absolutely,
huge sports fan. Baseball, basketball, football, primarily football,
absolutely,
but
yeah,
it allowed us, and even still to this day allows us to, stay connected and catching up or texting on Sundays, can you believe this play or what about this? And
yeah.
it's cool to have that.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
And so, and I want people to understand that it is a very big blessing that, we have sports, that, sports shouldn't be everybody's life or whatever, as like some people it is, but it should be something that like, it should be a little bit of your peace, your time that you get to enjoy it and
Yep.
live it with other people. You know, one of the cool things too is with that is when I'm at a Mountaineer game, I normally meet somebody new every time I go. And the thing is, this person sitting beside me, normal most times, is they love the Mountaineers. They love that team, whoever in the
Yeah.
situation, just as much as I do.
Yeah.
So I think that's another
You
cool.
actually helped me make a sale at work the other week. I had a guy come in for a quote. He worked for some station up in Morgantown. I said, sent my little quote over. I do sales for those of you that don't know. And had said, my brother's favorite place in the world is Morgantown. I've yet to come up there with him, but, hopefully one day soon we will. And that got the conversation going. And little do you know, he
So,
bought it.
so I'm gonna say this. What's kind of funny is the big thing that we say is that there's always a West Virginia connection.
Yeah.
There's always some way a West Virginia connection, and it's pretty cool. Like, there's just so many different funny things of how like there's always connections. So when you use me, that's what you'll say. Like, yeah, he always says there's a West Virginia connection somehow, or like, or
He's always
anybody
got his
knows what the
toboggan on.
well this is the flying WV. And so another thing too, I don't know if I told you this before. We WVU gets a lot of people from New Jersey, New York, that area up here to
Mm,
come down
yeah.
because back in the day it was cheaper to go to WVU than go to any school back
Right.
up that way. So they
Yep.
would travel and everything else. So that might be another reason why there's a WVU connection also with that.
Everywhere. Okay.
But but you said it worked at a station. It was like a news station or something.
Radio station.
Oh, okay. So probably Metro News. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll have to check.
yeah, that'd be the main one I would think more than likely about way, but it could be a different radio too.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we talked all about that, did that, and then even took to the point where folks and I got to be better about myself about this. That's what I'm going to try to do this year. I have sucked tremendously at it so far,
It's a learning
but
thing.
yeah, but it's to
No, but I will say, and again, no offense to any family who is listening to this. This is my personal opinion, and I am allowed this. I will say you have been the best and most receptive about it. Which, again, in you know, yeah, I will leave it at that. But I appreciate how willing you are to learn, how open you are to it. Um, because I could be wrong, but I'm sure you didn't grow up with a ton of, you know, people around you who were part of the queer community, and
Let's put it this
there's still
way.
stuff I have to learn. So,
Let's put it this
yeah,
way. It was not that I didn't know queer, gay, or anything,
yeah,
but it wasn't more of a time frame of like, what's the best thing to say or the best right
right,
way to put it.
yep,
And that just wasn't a, and that, but also I think in the time frame of growing up that too, it just wasn't a thing to learn all about yet at the
oh
time.
yeah,
Because it's grown since that time frame of like, you're
oh
just,
absolutely,
they're just, and again, nobody don't take offense to how I'm doing it, but then in that time they were just gay or
right,
those type of things. Now we have
yep,
more broader expand of
mm-hmm,
what all these can entail. And
right,
um, but folks, I just want, and we're gonna end on this, and then I always try to get my pat on the backs with people coming on. KG could like and actually have a love for dinosaurs, and that's who that would be her secret love is dinosaurs. They, you know, they could have more of a love for, you would want to have a girlfriend that has four polka dots on her forehead and then cheeks as purple as a bruise. I don't know, just random stuff like that.
where are you
At
going
the
with this?
end, it's more randomness, but you'll see.
Okay,
At the end of the day, you could be loving someone that's green, could be loving somebody that's orange, could be loving somebody that's as as a yellow as whatever, or you could be madly in love with a goldfish. I'm still going to love you. I might
yep.
question the goldfish possibly, but
Hmm,
um,
I would
I'm
hope
still
so.
gonna I'm still gonna love you no matter what.
Yeah,
Um, no matter what it is, who you are, because who you are is who you are being and who you want to be, and who
yeah,
you are is who you're finding to be.
yep.
And not that I don't think people are not, clapping for you on that. I think there's probably
No,
times where people are struggling to not put the dots together, but
for sure.
more of connect the right puzzle together.
Yeah,
And
yep.
but I want people to understand KG's my sister. Um,
Yep.
and I never got to ever say that in my life until we met each other. But
Right.
but let's just say we never knew each other and we became friends and we were just friends. I would have the same respect as I would as if it was my sister. And
Yep.
I think we can kind of take Alyssa, I love taking this to this. Um, that's a little bit part of the coming together thing.
Yep.
Um, is that we have to have enough respect for someone, even if let's just say this too, and even if like, and which would never happen, but let's just say I hated everything about what you value or whatever, hate it,
Hmm.
and I despised it.
I will say
There's
I
some
was
people,
worried about that when we met.
yeah, and
Mhm.
and again, that could be also the culture thing that both some people know how we are, and the
Predisposed.
other,
It's bias. Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah, and and there's a lot of people like that, and still like that,
Yep.
and it's
Yep.
sad, and it's disappointing. But at the same time, we as people have an obligation to treat people as human as they want to be treated.
Yep.
And we have an obligation to accept that we might not like what they are doing or who they're becoming, but man, if it looks like they're becoming such a better person than what we think it was going to be, then that should be
Yep.
more accepting than anything else. And
Absolutely.
not that I never would accept the fact if it was bad, but it's so
Right.
more willing and accepting because it's so good and
Yep.
it's so healthy to see. And no politic and religion, anything should get in the way of the opinion how I feel and love about
Mm.
you on that.
Yeah. I
And
love you.
and and I want people to understand that um, there is even like a preacher I know that would probably have the same feeling. Is that
Mhm.
is that like not to bring a religion in, but he would love you the same way. He would
Mhm.
continue to pray, but he would love you the same way.
Yep.
And and there's other situations like that too that will happen in people's lives. Again,
Oh yeah.
folks, I'm just telling you this is my perspective of how I love my sister. There
Yep.
could be another situation in your life that you have the same somewhat of a situation,
Mhm.
and there's no need room to judge on how people handle these situations,
Nope.
because sometimes people are handling it the best they can,
Yeah.
without kind of getting hurting others' feelings, or kind of like having a set a reset of like a pause of like, well, this is how I need to do this. Because
Yep.
again, I'm not going to bring it up the full story, but when, I felt very bad whenever there was some things I was saying, it wasn't nothing mean, folks. It was more of how I was putting my words together in a sentence.
Mm.
And that like I knew it was breaking KG down, but at the
Mm.
same time, there was respect and understanding that it wasn't on purpose.
Of course not.
It was just more I was talking, and
Right.
it was me going back and forth, me jabbering, me yapping. A lot of it too was I was just excited that I had my sister with me, and I just said whatever the hell I wanted to say, and and I just didn't stop
Mm.
myself because it was just having good times.
Yeah.
But now I do take a breath. I do practice. I do make
Mm.
myself have an understanding of what I'm about to talk about. I
Yep.
did slip up twice tonight, and I counted myself. That was probably about 5 or 6 too many times. That I thought I would do worse. So I was proud. I am proud of myself that I only slipped
No,
twice.
you do a wonderful job. You really do.
So, and I want people to understand when you don't say this stuff every day, it is
Of course.
difficult.
It's a learning
But
curve.
you can do it. You
Yeah.
can do absolutely
It's
as much
simple.
as you want to do it. It's again
Yep.
we talked about earlier with the self love and doing stuff for yourself.
Yep.
A lot of stuff like this is effort, and if you want to
Yep.
make the effort to do that,
Do it.
and yeah, so
Make like
we're gonna end
Nike and
this.
just do it.
Yes,
Mm.
so we're gonna end the show, and it gives me enough time where I have a little bit of time frame to do that 15-minute with my brewing thoughts for tomorrow. And it's awesome that you all, if you grew up with me, I was a single child. In the last, 4 to 5 years, I've had my sister, and
Yep.
I have
It's
I
pretty
have
cool.
another sister. And this is another topic, another day. And I told you about earlier,
Hopefully you
and
can get
and
her on the show too in the future.
I
I think
talked
that'd be
about it.
really cool. Yeah.
I talked to mom about it, and I tried calling her the last couple of days, say that we've been on. But Courtney's been sharing my stuff, and Courtney, if you
Nice.
watch this,
That's
yeah, yeah,
awesome.
yeah, she's been sharing it. She's been doing heart blue and yellow for it and everything, and I try my best to
That's
comment
cool.
every time to give her a shout.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that, and because that's my oldest sister.
Yep.
So if I
You're the
go with
middle
families and
child.
stuff, yeah, yeah, and then technically on my father's side, I am the oldest. Um,
Oh,
so yeah, so
interesting. Kind of
yeah,
like me.
yeah,
I've been the youngest, the oldest, and the middle.
yeah. Alex on the other
Yeah.
side thought she was the oldest, and then boom, found out I was.
Mhm.
I've been a perfect.
That's
So,
funny. But yeah,
but
no, it'd be cool to get Courtney on. I think she would enjoy it with you, and I think it'd be cool.
yeah, get a little more of the recovery side and how she deals with things and such,
Mm-hmm.
and all
Yeah.
that. But that'd be a little bit on down the road. But
Yeah.
but all right, well, folks, we're gonna end it. I don't know when I'm gonna do this before or after, but we'll really enjoy um the video coming up. Probably, I'm probably gonna do it after with the Mike Trico. But you'll see us. And this is the Coach Mike and Friends podcast. This is my sister KG, and peace.
Peace out.
So, want to do a little bit of a recap about what you all just listened to and everything, and I'm gonna make a promise. I tried this past episode, wasn't happening. Um, I'm gonna try to get to about 45 minutes to an hour. That's the goal here. We'll just see how it happens and goes further. Second thing, I really wanted to talk about, the whole Mike Tirico thing a little bit more, and I did it earlier because I kind of just pushed through to get something put out there. But it was just so cool what he has done in the last month, from Super Bowl to Olympics. But I think to me, he's in my top 5, probably my top 3 most favorite sportscasters that we've kind of, have had, at least in my lifetime. But he's just so genuine, so fair, so emotional when he's talking. But it's a very calm emotional. Like his excitement, he's excited, but like at a calm way. It's weird. I think if you've listened to him, you'd understand how I'm kind of put it. But he's just the man. He's cool. I remember back when him and Herb Street, and I think maybe somebody else, maybe it was Reese Davis, did a lot of the Thursday night games on ESPN, and he was in Morgantown a lot. So that was kind of pretty cool, just seeing from then to now. And then, again, it was awesome to have my sister on, KG to have on. Cool time. Y'all get to hear that. Y'all have got to hear that story with us. How we're very Irishly twin similar in a lot of aspects, even though we've only known each other now for 4 years. So pretty cool stuff. So I just want to again do a little recap. And, I hope you got something out of the conversation with my sister. I hope you're getting something about, the whole coming together thing with that video. In hard times, in our country, again, this is not political, but hard times in our country, we have to come together. And sports does that. Music does that. Other things do that. And it's just a cool thing that we can do. So just appreciate that we have that power, because some other places in our world doesn't have that power. Doesn't have that, not power, but I guess, I don't know, I guess it is power. So, but hope you enjoyed the video. Again, share it, like it, describe it. And always remember, be somebody that somebody needed today. As always, again, be somebody that somebody needed today. Coach Mike, out. Happy weekend to you. Peace.